It's interesting how it takes a different vessel to echo the same things that I've been showing my audience for the last 3 years, and how I came out specifically challenging certain things being forced down our throats, and every time these people would just pop out the woodworks trying to make their case online. And if you ask me, that was the biggest telltale sign that this whole case was manufactured, and a lot of people in Chicago should be asking some questions when it comes to the misconduct of State Prosecutor Kim Foxx and her roles with certain affiliates such as Michael Avenatti. Contrary to popular belief, my method of bringing out the truth was bringing out the lies that everyone was putting on public display, trying to make their case, so to say, including sharing alleged evidence that we saw present itself in this man's New York trial. So, quick question. You think they gonna be mad when they realize all this work they've put in has backfired and all of them get caught up in their web of lies?
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Earlier today, Robert Kelly was indicted before a Cook County grand jury on 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse involving 4 victims. The first victim, initials HW, was involved in incidents which occurred between May 26, 1998 and May 25, 1999. A grand jury returned an indictment on 4 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse based on the victim being under the age of 17 and Robert Kelly being more than 5 years older than the victim. The second victim, initials RL, was involved in an incident which occurred between September 26, 1998 and September 25, 2001. A grand jury returned an indictment on 2 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse based on the victims being under the age of 17 and Robert Kelly being more than 5 years older than that victim. The third victim, initials LC, was involved in an incident which occurred February 18, 2003. A grand jury returned an indictment on 1 count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse based on the transmission of semen by Robert Kelly upon any part of the body of the victim for the purpose of sexual gratification during the course of an underlying felony of attempt criminal sexual assault. The fourth victim, initials JP, was involved in incidents which occurred between May 1st, 2009.
Government, let me tell y'all motherfuckers something. I'm telling you, shit is real. Shit is getting real. Woo! I'm telling you, shit is real. Shit is getting real. Woo!
Those following my content know exactly why I never believed these people had sufficient evidence to secure this man's arrest. However, the connections they had behind the scenes was what was pulling the strings. So it was no surprise when the feds came in once it was very clear some mishandling and misconduct had made it public. But it's funny how people selectively want to persecute Kim Foxx for her misconduct and shady business, including the fraternal order who called her out for her handling of Jussie Smollett's case. See, when you start a story in the middle of the book and listen to what other people tell you about individuals, it's hard for you to make up your own mind at what you're seeing displayed. But if people recall, I challenged the very notion that this man who wouldn't testify in the first trial is so credible with all these stories that all these people in Chicago can't go get the stories from people from Chicago to put out here to change the narratives, that all these people knew this and that, all these people knew he was preying on these so-called children, but they're more focused on outside opinions. And even this janky-ass marriage certificate I told you was fake. But the so-called supporters wouldn't come out and highlight even in trial there was no record of certain documents, which again proves it's not authentic. And even when I brought to you who was bringing this bribery charge on Robert Kelly, all these janky-ass people wanted to get exclusive information, try to coerce and intimidate others, and wonder why everything went left. Even funnier, after I recognize the sources behind a lot of these so-called bloggers, they want to come to the internet and put bullshit out here in regards to me rather than face the fact to say, y'all not finna loop me in no motherfucking RICO because y'all too dumb to see that the government can associate who the hell they want to associate if you dumb enough to interfere with a case, period. It's funny how people can be called out when interfering with certain cases. They could be given special favors to call in the feds to help assist until they realize the people they're assisting are lying. So what happens when the truth comes out and all these people that have been given platforms are busted in all their deception? It becomes public. All this janky ass evidence they claim they had was circumstantial and not enough to convict, and that they manipulated your emotions so you turn your back against the corruption. And on top of that, all these goofy ass people just start popping out the woodwork, attacking you for no reason, whether you support him or not. Somebody gonna have something to say instead of minding they fucking business. Meanwhile, in Chicago, there's death everywhere. People are speculating on a serial killer. The same youth that everybody wants to say is so young and dumb have all this access to these guns, all these people affiliating with gang culture, then running to social media to incriminate themselves while everybody on the internet talking about stop snitching. Make this shit make sense. So I'm supposed to take serious these people who use this prosecutor who was in office in 2008 when this man had his first trial, who didn't introduce none of this stuff they brought in order to solidify the present case, the same prosecutor who linked up with this career extortionist, the same prosecutor who claimed to have all this evidence to secure this indictment needed to come out and solicit the victims from a docuseries she watched that had her sickened. And it's funny watching the people who joined the bandwagon, even those who perpetrated as supporters, going along with the narratives, try to clean up all of their bullshit they put out there. And what's funny is, these people wanted to come associate themselves with me, whether it was sending me messages or whatever the case may be, when they could have just did what they did and minded their fucking business, instead of coming to YouTube trying to discredit my work after they ran with so much, which clearly shows the character within them. So again, if anybody wants to follow these individuals, I never had a problem with that. What I have a problem with is when you watch their content and try to bring it onto me without recognizing I'm making it make sense for you as to where some people are going left, passing hearsay, giving janky ass information from janky ass people, and then attacking people online. Therefore, if you ain't got the common sense to see there's a right way to advocate, bring awareness to a topic without trying to look like a bully online when you don't scare real women, I don't know what to tell you. All that huffing and puffing you see these people doing, be serious. Who does that for 3 years? Meanwhile, you see Chicago, people are dropping like flies. You see other places when people engage in this drill-like behavior. If they're about some business, they gonna do something. But all you see is distractions. And now people are so confused to the fact the distraction has already occurred. Now you just see people trying to pass the buck, point the finger at the next person, and avoid taking responsibility for their stupid-ass bullshit. Now, in conclusion, I did a video on the WAP and also mentioned some shady activities within Kamala Harris's old office, and it brought up this fraternal order. And I find it interesting. I've heard these stories about these individuals in Chicago masking themselves as police officers trying to procure these alleged tapes. And when I read these indictments and hear that individuals were out here soliciting these alleged child porn tapes, that these videos are still online, and that Robert Kelly is being held accountable for obstructing justice, when I believe this was a mere shakedown. It's too much going on with this tape for people to even consider the notion of it being admissible evidence, especially when you have this docuseries putting this person from Jive Records on a platform saying that he was enlisted with the job of going to buy up all these tapes. Now, if they assume these tapes were child porn, why would they send somebody to go buy all these tapes and this person not penalized, but instead given a platform to tell this story? Y'all want to hear something even funnier? I'm supposed to take serious these people who think that individuals who previously tried to extort the man actually tried to bail him out, or even mention the notion that they bailed him out, which was stupid. Never mind, the news clearly told you who bonded the man out. They put the woman's business all on record. I'm supposed to believe this janky ass bullshit and then tolerate the fact that people can't recognize they giving out janky information and move the fuck on, but instead are feeding into the narratives being planted to the federal agents. And even more so, I'm supposed to entertain the notion of giving an interview toward an individual implicated in the original tape extortion and a man accused of running a cult himself. Make this shit make sense. But unlike some people, I don't have to defame people's character or push my beliefs onto my audience. I just present the things that substantiate what I feel, let you decide what you want, and bring your own conclusion. Like even when it came to his family, who am I to judge them when all I can do is tell you that when it came to his original defense in 2008, his brother was not mentioned. His defense used the little man defense, which is what led me on the path of discovering that this tape was altered in the first place. And then when I started to bring out the individuals, Keith, Chuck, and all the people who had their hands in it, again, all these weirdos get to popping out the woodwork. The paperwork clearly shows you who's cooperating, and they pulled your chain.
Because y'all could never do nothing as men while that man was there, because he treated y'all like shit. Let's talk about how many of y'all he owed money to right now that he played with y'all all the way till he went to prison. Because I do remember, Dawn, you crying on Christmas when he got that bonus money, and you was talking about how you was getting ready to leave him. You, fuck this, you ready to tell it all, and this and that, and because he wouldn't pay you, because he went and took his, what he called himself, called it the family. He took the family shopping for Christmas and ain't pay you your money. You was sitting there broke as a joke, sitting there crying about a man that didn't pay your money, and you ain't had a heart to say nothing. And then when he paid you, you was like a little girl to the companion you was on the phone with. Oh, he got my money, everything good. I could go do this now like a kid. Dude, you don't want to play with me, bro. They facts. They in emails, they in text messages. You tell me how you want it to be posted. And this ain't none of that fake shit that they run around the internet.
I talk to Angela now. You gotta get rid of Mason, and you have to get rid of this publisher, because they are working with Avenatti. This was a whole, like, this Gail King thing. They knew about this from like weeks ago, like they've been planning this. I know you don't probably want to listen to me, but please, you cannot let him do this interview on Monday. We're seeing, like, all of this stuff is a plan to just, like, put you apart and make shit worse.
Cannot let who do an interview?
This Daryl Johnson guy. The guy who's supposed to be, like, the publicist or whatever.
Rip me apart how?
Get you away.
Rip me apart how?
Like, it's just all things. Like, I don't know.
No. Just be specific. Be specific. Rip me apart how?
I don't know the how.
Okay, I want you to find out. I want you to find out how and let me know.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Get the bag. Get the bag. Y'all niggas know what it is. You know we get the bag. The bag, the bag. And you know we get the bag. The bag, the bag. And you know I gets the bag. The bag, the bag.
All of this, you're going to see this in future testimony, but Azrael knows where everything is. When I say the tape, she knows who's who. She knows where the bank accounts are, where the money is. She knows who's using who. Not seen what we've been trying to show you, that you've been brainwashed. But once she watched that documentary and she read the emails that I sent over to her, that he was sending to Joycelyn, telling Joycelyn the same things that he told her. Hiding other tapes for Azrael, just like London on the Track's mom was doing. Cheryl, I forgot her last name, Cheryl Mack or whatever. And so I'm trying to tell you without telling you too much, because like I said, this is a federal case, and I've even helped out the feds with all the information that I've been given. So I was working with the Department, was it the Department of State? Homeland Security, one of them damn please. Homeland Security, my lawyers were to hand them over everything that we had received.
That nigga getting the money now, so you know a nigga gon' brag. Still keep it hood, kills all good, dreams still on side. Bank account need to work out cause it's so fat.